I love learning about people and understanding them and
Right.
diving deep into their story. So
I love that, man. I love that. You're getting into the psychological parts of it, and that's awesome. And is it for you? Is it more from like the I guess like the entrepreneurial side, or is it more from just like learning like how people just kind of on a every like where's your angle usually? Because is there anything else you do on the side right now that's more like, are you building SaaS? Are you building products? Are you doing any of that? Okay, so you're
I'm
just
a
okay.
studier of human beings.
I love it.
Human beings are what I'm actually interested in. And I use entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship, which I'm actually really interested in, as a way to understand human beings better. And
I love
I'm
that.
trying my best to get a full 360 view of this person, how the events in their life have shaped them, their own internal growth. The external growth is cool and amazing, and I want to cover that in some respect, but I also want to get into the parts of the person, the human being in their mind. Most entrepreneurship podcasts are going to talk about like how much revenue did you make?
Right.
How'd you do it? What's going on? I'm like, how do you feel about making all that revenue?
I
What
love that.
what did your friends say when you did that? What changed in your life when that happened that's unexpected? And so, yeah, man, I just take a different my own unique approach. People often say like your questions are so different or unique. It's like I'm only asking what's inherently interesting to me. That's the only thing I'm curious about. So that's why if they are unique, that's the reason for it. It's just because I'm thinking about all of that research, all of the things that I've come across in my own life, and then trying to understand that person through my own lens. And that is going to create something unique. That's the only way. And
I
that's just my process.
I love it. Have you I gotta ask you, you just said something that triggered us. Have you read this book
Oh
by
yeah,
Rick?
it's right here, bro.
Oh, dude, you literally just touched on this. You said I care about dude, yes, there we go. It's an amazing book, and the reason why
Amazing.
it's what you said. You know, you care about your outcome, what you get out of it. You're not worried about what everyone else wants to hear. And one of the most important things that Rick Rubin said in there was, the fans come last, you come first. It's all about what you want, the music you want to listen to. In your case, the podcast that you want to build is that. So, dude, that's amazing. I love that you just have that book sitting right there too.
I resonate so strongly with Rick Rubin. Like he is a dream guest for the podcast, and it's just because his energy of life is just vibing with life and letting
Hmm.
it come to him and operating from a clear creative place. He is living in creativity. And so
That's so true. That right there, dude. He's living in creativity.
and I feel that and I believe I'm doing the same thing in my own way and I'm looking for guests who are also doing that themselves. I just had
Absolutely.
Paul Millard on the podcast. This dude is just loving life. He's vibing with life. He's a great writer, but the writing he's not writing so that he could be a New York Times bestseller. He's self-published and sold over 12,000 copies and he's just like he's loving life and he's like I can't believe this is happening, but like I didn't mean for this to happen, but this is amazing, you know. So yeah, man, that's the key to it of just like be one with life and life will take you where you need to go.
The byproduct of enjoying things is getting to enjoy them more down the road.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
You know what
It's
I
like
mean?
yes, it's like the podcast is great. When no one's listening, it's truly great. Like
Yeah,
I was so enthralled with the conversation. Now 40,000 people are listening. I am truly enthralled with the conversation. Then 400 or 4 million, it's like I am still excited by the conversation. This is just
absolutely.
a way for me to get my own personality, get myself out to more people.
Mhm.
You know, it's like I asked Brian Johnson, the this guy who sold Venmo to PayPal for $800 million. And he's talking about how difficult it is in his own mind, about
Yeah,
how like he is struggling. And I've had periods of downness in my own life, but I said, dude, I can't relate. Like I can't like really understand what you're talking about at a deep level. What should people like me do? And his
right.
advice to me was like, well, he's like saying, I've never thought about that, but what I'd recommend is like you just spread that to as many people as possible. And I said, "Good news, Brian. I'm doing that through the podcast, basically." So,
I love it. I love
yeah,
it, dude. And that's I think and it's such an important medium nowadays. I feel like podcasting and you know, you hear that notion all the time. It's like only I think 10% of podcasts make it past like episode 12 or whatever that might be.
Yep.
And I'm thinking to myself over here, because, you know, for my side of things, I'm always out there building, whether it's products, whatever that might be, doing a lot of writing. And that's just one medium. But then when you get to talk to people, like that Rick Rubin book, I went and listened to the audiobook, heard his voice, his like Zen voice, and then I went to read it. And it's almost like it's reading the same book from two different perspectives.
Interesting.
It was amazing because he has such just a calmness to him. Like you said, he lives in creativity. His speech, everything is just so calm. And you're sitting, I'm driving and I'm just listening. You know what I mean? You're consuming it differently. And then you sit down and you read it and you're kind of like having to repeat things a few times. You're like, oh shit. Like, so it's to me, that's like the sometimes like literally the mind fuck that I get into with like audiobooks and reading it myself, is that I get it from two, especially if it's the author, doing the doing the voiceover.
Well, that's the thing. It's like both perceptions are correct. Your
Exactly.
perception of reading and your perception of listening are both correct, even though they're different. And that's a hard thing to grasp.
Yeah.
And grasping that makes you smarter as a human being because now you have multiple perspectives. Smartness and the education is really just understanding more perspectives of life.
That's it.
So you want to understand human beings better? Well, talk to 1,000 of them, right? You want to understand X topic better? Talk or listen or read 1,000 different people who have covered that thing, and you will understand it from all those perspectives, and it will look like a circle, right?
Yeah.
Like you'll
Yeah,
have a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
circular view of
yeah.
it, which I never thought about, but it's like that's the
It's
cover of Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act, and so I think it's such an important thing to understand that and not to fight that you and your friend could both look at the same thing and have two different ways of interpreting that, and you guys could both be correct, and there's a lot of peace that comes from that, and there's a lot of knowledge to be gained by that.